Before we come to understand generative AI in detail, let us see a subtle difference between generative AI and traditional AI. We shall see this with the help of two simple examples. The first one, a game of chess, or more so, playing computer chess. The computer knows all the rules. It can predict your moves and make its own based on a predefined strategy. It's not inventing new ways to play chess, but selecting from strategies it was programmed with. That's traditional AI. It's like a master strategist who can make smart decisions within a specific set of rules. Other examples of traditional AIs are voice assistants like Siri or Alexa or Google search algorithm. These AIs have been trained to follow specific rules, do a particular job and do it well, but they don't create anything new. It's night time. It's time to tell stories. The mother starts telling the story to the child. Once upon a time in a land far away, full of magical castles. And she cannot continue because she has made up so many stories in the past. So she takes the help of AI. The AI takes that line and generates a whole space adventure story, complete with characters, plot twists, and a thrilling conclusion. The AI creates something new from the piece of information we gave it. This is a basic example of generative AI. It's like an imaginative friend who can come up with original creative content. The main difference between traditional AI and generative AI lies in their capabilities and application. Traditional AI systems are primarily used to analyze data and make predictions, while generative AI goes a step further by creating new data similar to its training data. In other words, traditional AI excels at pattern recognition, while generative AI excels at pattern creation. Traditional AI can analyze data and tell you what it sees, but generative AI can use that same data to create something entirely new. So now let's come to the official definition of generative AI. Generative AI is a type of artificial intelligence technology that can produce various types of content on what it has learned from existing content. It can produce text, it can produce imagery, it can produce audio, and it can produce synthetic data. Important points to note on the process. The process of learning from existing content is called training and results in the creation of a statistical model. When given a prompt, GenAI uses this statistical model to predict what an expected response might be, and this generates new content. I shall come to this generative image model in a few minutes to explain further, but in generative image model, using techniques like diffusion, GenAI can transform random noise into images or generate images from prompts. What about the evolution of generative models? First, we had the traditional programming where we had to hard code the rules. Then we had neural networks where pictures of elements described as outputs in the traditional programs and questions were asked to validate the element and info. And finally, we now have the generative models where we can generate our own content using models like PALMs or Lambda. Now we move on to further details about generative models. As mentioned earlier, I would like to give a brief description of generative models, either its language or image. In the generative way, we as users can generate our own content, whether it's text, images, audio, or video. These models can ingest very large amount of data from multiple sources across the internet and build foundational language models simply by asking a question. You can do it whether by typing or asking verbally on the prompt. Essentially, it learns the underlying structure of the data and can then generate new samples that are similar to the data it was trained on. And finally, large language models, LLMs, are one type of generative AI since they generate novel combinations of text in the form of natural sounding language. I shall take one example of generative AI based on data and the input type is image. If the input type is image, the output can be text in the form of visual question answering or image search. It can be another image as image completion, or it can be a video in the form of an animation. Now, let us see the evolution of generative AI from a slightly different angle. We have briefly learned about large language models, The LLMs are actually a part of a different class of models called foundation models. This term was coined by a team from Stanford when they saw that the field of AI was converging to a new paradigm. Prior to this period, AI applications were being built by a library of AI models, where each model was trained on very task specific data to perform very specific tasks. The point is that this model could be transferred to any number of tasks. What gives the model the superpower to be able to transfer to multiple different tasks and perform multiple different functions is that it has been trained on a huge amount of data in an unsupervised manner and on unstructured data. Let me try to explain this with a very simple example. This means in language domain, I feed a bunch of sentences, actually terabytes of data here, to train this model. I write, a thing of beauty is a joy, and I leave the forever. And it's this generative capability of the model predicting and generating the next word or a huge set of words based on the previous words that it has seen beforehand. That is why the foundation models are actually a part of the field of AI called generative AI, where we are generating something new, in this case, the next word in a sentence. Now, let us see some of the interesting trends of generative AI in 2024. One area where generative AI is really making its mark this year is in multimodal AI. AI multimodal models can take multiple layers of data as input, and we already have interdisciplinary models like OpenAI's ChatGPT 4V and Google Gemini that can move freely between natural language processing and computer vision tasks. An user can ask for an image and then receive a natural language answer, or they ask for a repair instruction, let's say a house repair instruction, and they receive visual aids alongside step by step text instructions. New models are also trying to bring video onto the field. This is where it gets captivating is that multimodal AI allows for models to process more diverse data inputs, and this gives a whole new dimension in training and learning. Another focus area is smaller models. Large models consume huge amount of energy daily. Smaller models are far less resource intensive. One of the aim of LLMs is to yield greater results with fewer parameters. ChatGPT alone, we have heard that has 1.76 trillion parameters. Many open source models have seen success with model sizes in the range of 3 to 17 billion parameters. Mistral released a product called Mixtral, and it claims that it comes as a winner against most standard benchmarks against larger entities like even ChatGPT 3.5. Smaller parameter models can be run at lower cost, can be run locally on many devices. Next, we come to model optimization and a term called quantization. This lowers the precision used to represent model data points. It is a technique to reduce the computational and memory costs of running inference by representing the weights and activations with low precision data types like a 8-bit integer instead of a 32-bit floating point. And the second method may be deployment modification. This strategy is based on adjusting the operating environment of the AI model to enhance performance and efficiency. Deployment modification may involve containerization of AI models using techniques like Docker, which allows more scalable and manageable deployments across different platforms. The fourth topic trending on generative AI in 2024 is tuning the model's hyperparameters. Hyperparameters that control the learning process. Hyperparameter tuning is the process of selecting the optimal set of hyperparameters and an important step in the model development process. Two options. One is the model-centric approach and the data-centric approach. Model-centric approach focuses on the characteristics of the model itself, such as the structure of the model or the types of algorithms used. An example of hyperparameter tuning is a grid search. There has been an increasing trend for virtual agents. These virtual agents goes beyond the straightforward customer experience chatbot because virtual agents relate to task automation, where agents will get stuff done for you. For example, airline reservation and hotel booking. There is a lot of future for this particular trend. 2023 has been a year of recognition. Generative AI has come a long way from the days of traditional coding, but we have a long way to go. A recent survey by Gartner revealed that only 4% of the decision makers were sufficiently mature in generative AI. So we have a long way to go and a bright future. If you like this video, kindly subscribe to the channel and like and share. I shall publish 2 more videos on generative AI. Till then, see you.